Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
You are now listening to the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zack Zo. Thank you for joining us as we talk about the movies of yesteryear. You can reach us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter by searching for Backlook Cinema. Check our show notes for more info, and now, let's get it in.
This is Zach.
And this is Zo, and welcome to the Backlook Cinema Show. Oh, you know what? See, I messed up already. The Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zack and Zo. There you go. That sounds better. This is the 27th episode. And the reason we started this show was to strengthen the bond between my son, Zach, and me, Zo. We watch movies that I loved when I was growing up in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. And we get Zach's impressions on these great movies.
You can get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, face masks, and a bunch of other items at our website, backlookcinema.com.
Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and other socials. You can find the details and the show notes also at backlookcinema.com. You can leave us direct feedback, comments, suggestions, etc. Email us at fanmail@backlookcinema.com.
And please, if you like our show, then rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast app that you might be using.
So, Zachary, what have you been up to?
Nothing. Just finished watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Got up to the latest episode of Invincible, and that's just about it.
Oh, so you watched that last night?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was good.
That was powerful. In Invincible, father was beating the crap out of his son. That was a powerful, impactful episode. So, and the most impactful moment was when Omni-Man was pounding Invincible, which I'm starting to think is a misnomer. But nevertheless, he's pounding Invincible, and he asks his son, what have you got to look forward to? You live 1,000 years. What have you got to look forward to? And he said, you, Dad. And I was like, oh, that's so heartbreaking. So yeah, any moments of the show that got to you?
I know.
No, it was all just good, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so, did you binge Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Or you just
yeah, I binged it from episode 3 and up.
Right. Oh, that must have been exciting. You didn't experience it like most other people. They watched it like one episode a week. So you just got to just go flash through it.
Yeah.
So you saw what I was talking about when I told you it goes deep.
Yep.
Yeah. So it deeper than Marvel has ever depthed before. Talking about real social issues. It really hew closely to real life. And that's kind of like what Marvel did. Marvel was like back when they were making it up in the 60s and whatnot. Stan Lee had saw, like in other superhero comics, the superheroes were just super, and they didn't have any real problems except the people they were fighting. But in Marvel comics, Peter Parker had bills to pay. Iron Man was alcoholic. They there were problems. They had personal problems, and I think that's what the MCU is starting to kind of put into the storylines. So the next MCU outing will be Loki. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
He don't look like he got any personal problems.
I mean, he's going to face some.
Yeah.
Especially since he's he's not a clone.
He's not a clone. He's a variant.
Yeah,
it's like he's a Loki from a different timeline. So he's still Loki, but he's not the Loki that died in Infinity War. So I liked it on one of the previews, they showed him with he had like a prison shirt and it said variant. So, oh shoot, we left the door wide open. Hold on a second. There we go. Now the door's closed. So he had variant on his prison clothes or whatever. So and then what's his name? Owen Wilson. He looks like he's going to be a fun addition.
Not only that, he had to sign papers where of everything he said and did.
Said. Oh, that was the funniest part. He's like,
"Are you serious?"
He's like, "Are you serious?" And the printer printed out one more piece of paper.
Yeah, that's serious. Everything you said.
It's almost like, yeah, say something else. Yeah, so that was good. So You ain't been on video games or nothing else?
Nope.
No. So, well, I hadn't really been doing much watching the same shows. I hadn't even gone back to watching Teen Titans, even though I watched that first episode. Although, excuse me,
Young
Justice.
Yeah,
Young Justice. Although I had watched, I think, one episode of Harley Quinn last week. Harley Quinn is a fun show. It is actually amazing, the stuff that they get away with on that show. I mean, it's as foul-mouthed as ever. That's an R-rated cartoon. Let's see. But as far as that stuff, nothing. Just working, trying to incorporate the drawings again into the stuff that I post on Instagram and stuff. But the drawing is hard. It takes a long time. So I hadn't put that out. I could have did that this morning. Instead, I just played around on my telephone. So and I'm playing the mobile games like that. They got the Simpsons mobile puzzle game. I've been playing a lot of that again. And solitaire. Been playing a lot of solitaire. And so, yeah, just a regular humdrum, boring. Oh, and I'm getting back into playing the Avengers video game just so I can learn how to actually play the characters again. Because when you leave a video game for a long time, you forget how to move stuff, and it's not it can get boring after a while, and for an action game it shouldn't get boring. It's not like Outriders is actually way more interesting in playing that type of as far as action games are concerned. I'm tempted to go ahead and buy it anyways. So shoot, I don't know. I can't think of anything else I've done. So let's just jump into the movie that we watched today. This is probably going to be a kind of shorter episode, simply because there's not a lot of meat on this movie. It's a very simplistic movie. But it's still one of the most entertaining movies that I watched when I was growing up. Zachary, tell the people what we watch.
Kickboxer.
Well, Jean-Claude Van Damme. What about this movie?
Let's see. Kurt Sloane is the corner man for his brother, U.S. kickboxing champion Eric Sloane. When Kirk witnessed his brother become maliciously paralyzed in the ring by Thailand's champion Tong Po, Kirk vows revenge. With the help of Zhang, a kickboxing training who lives in a remote area of Thailand, Kirk trains for the fight of his life. That was by Peter Katzman.
Yeah, that's good. It's trainer, not training. So this movie was released September 8th, 1989 by Canon Pictures. The old defunct Canon. It grossed over $14 million in U.S. and Canada on a $1.5 million budget. And critics hated it. But audiences loved it. See, we, the regular people, we loved it. But critics are just looking for something deeper. Everything got to be deep. And so they hated it. But this is like a very simplistic style movie. So this movie, once again, didn't highlight the thing. But I'll start us off. This movie starred Jean-Claude Van Damme. He played Kurt Sloane. He was in Bloodsport, Street Fighter, the movie, JCVD, and The Expendables 2, where he's credited, or his character is called the villain in the credits. So that tells you how the story-making process goes on in the Expendables movie.
You have Dennis Alexio. He was Eric Sloane. He was in Picasso Trigger, and Superforce.
There's also Dennis Chan. He played Zion Chow. He was in The Man with the Iron Fist and Naked Weapon.
Then you have Marcel Quissy.
No, that's Michael.
Michael Kissy. He was Tong Po. He was in Bloodsport and Cyborg.
Haskell V. Anderson III. He was Winston Taylor, and he was in This Christmas.
Yeah, Roselle Asana.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, she was Miley.
And then Kai Ting Lee, he played Freddie Lee. So yeah, the only person in this cast that really rose out of obscurity was Jean-Claude Van Damme. This is one of his first movie. And actually, I'm trying to look up his name. Dennis Chan, he actually had like an illustrious career before this movie. So he's already a noted actor. But pretty much everybody else, either they're like entrenched in Asian culture and it's like it hasn't filtered over to the US to the point where I know who they are, or they, just they're just not famous people.
This was directed by Mark Desal and David Worth.
It was written by Mark Desal, Glenn A. Bruce, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. And this didn't write any notes on what they directed or what they wrote, because they didn't really write or direct anything. And they not, like I said, it's not that deep.
This music is by Paul Herzog. He did music for Bloodsport and Street Justice.
Right, among other things. And the music was alright. It was standard action movie affair. It was produced by Mark Desal, and so, like I said, not many things that he produced that is worth noting. And like I said, it's not a lot of meat on this movie. It's just not much stuff in it. As far as the people who made it, they've been made some TV shows and some movies you never heard of. Even some of the movies that list is just some movies that we've never heard of. Like for example, Naked Weapon. Heard of that movie?
No.
Nobody's heard of that movie. Or now actually, The Man with the Iron Fist is just a movie that came out like a few years ago. Your mom actually bought that movie. I never watched it. I'm curious about it, but it's not like a famous movie. Or like Super Force. Ever heard of that movie?
No.
That's the entire filmography. Just a bunch of stuff you ain't never heard of. Maybe some TV shows. Actually, what's his name? Haskell V. Anderson III. He's been in a lot of TV shows, so he's more of a TV guy. But as far as doing like movies and stuff, not too many movies that you would have heard of. So we're already at a commercial.
Yeah, we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be right back to talk about our favorite parts of the movie, some movie trivia, and find out what some of the critics thought.
Soon in 2022, the Umbrella Corporation will be unveiling a brand new line of skin-tight, trademark skincare products for men, women, and the sexually unambiguous. Umbrella has scoured the world looking for the rarest, most unique natural extracts and substances to bring you the best skincare in the world. The skin-tight line of skincare products will have you looking decades younger with a smoother, cleaner, moisturized epidermis and the most even skin color tones. The skin-tight line includes a variety of cleansers, scrub, eye treatments, natural oils, and acne control agents. These products will be guaranteed to make you a newer, better, more resilient you. The skin-tight, all-encompassing skincare system by Umbrella Corporation is currently being evaluated by the world's leading dermatologists, epidemiologists, and other healthcare professionals to ensure that skin-tight will be the best skincare available, full stop. Skin-tight. It's time for a new you.
And we're back. So Zachary, what did you think of that Whopper Impossible from last week?
Horrible.
You think you might cop that track?
No. Never.
Yeah, last week's ad was Whopper Impossible. I have no idea what this week's ad is going to be. So, did you get your mama Mother's Day present? Mother's Day coming up?
I got her something. It's going to be a Mother's Day present and a birthday gift at the same time.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you already got it, or are you waiting to give it to her?
I already have it.
Oh, okay. Is it in that box?
No, it's not in that box.
Oh, okay. Still wondering what's in that box.
Don't worry about what's in the box.
So, let me ask you something. How the movies so far, that when you think about all the movies that we've watched, what's your general impression?
I mean, it was decent.
No, I'm talking about all of the movies that we've watched.
All the movies?
Right.
In general?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all pretty good and decent. Yeah.
Okay. So this one falls into the decent category.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But you enjoyed some parts of it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I didn't miss on this one. I really enjoyed this when I was going on. I think maybe it's a little dated. The choreography is pretty weak. It was choreographed by Jean-Claude Van Damme, and it wasn't a lot of people on that project who was capable of doing something like that. So he was it. But it's very similar to a movie that he did called Bloodsport. Bloodsport and this movie, I keep mixing up a lot because they're so similar. But they're both on the list. but Bloodsport is more like Mortal Kombat, except without the fatalities. It's more of a tournament, and it's reputedly based on something that actually happened. But this story, I already started. Kickboxer is wholly fictional. So, what were your favorite parts of this movie?
The beginning of the movie, that was good. When you get to see the brother in action, and then I'm just gonna skip over the part where they just get to Thailand, doing their sightseeing, whatever, and telling his brother not to do that 3 kick thing. Tell him, don't do that. It's all about power. I'm like, okay then.
Right.
Skip over that into when he's about to fight the guy. And then his, what's his name? Eric?
Tong Po?
Yeah. No, not Tong.
Oh, you're talking about Eric?
Not Eric, the brother. Kurt, when he sees Tong Po just kicking a steel beam.
No, it wasn't steel. It was a concrete pillar.
Concrete pillar, just kicking it. And he's like, yeah, no.
Right.
Brother, you don't need to fight this. No, trust me. I seen him. He was kicking this concrete. Talking about, oh, yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Can he move like this? I'm like, no, but he's kicking a concrete. Just because you have speed does not mean anything.
I mean, in boxing, it means something. And theoretically, if he had actually used his speed in the fight, then he would have had a chance. But
they're not fighting legally. This is Muay Thai. There's a huge difference.
Yeah,
when it comes to kickboxing and Muay Thai.
Right. They got way different rules, and he was not prepared.
He was talking about he used his elbow. Because it's Muay Thai. This is not kickboxing.
Well, also because A, it's in Thailand, and B, they got different rules in Thailand. So, yeah, you just can't come cold into a fight without studying the fighting style and your opponent. Like, who goes into fighting without knowing how their opponent fights?
Someone that's the world champion don't care.
Well, no, he's just super arrogant. That's all
and
he is.
And there's also that.
Because even if you're the world champion, especially if you're the world champion, and he didn't have a trainer, I mean, especially if you're the world champion, you're always going to have a trainer.
How come you don't have a trainer? Well, I got my brother in my corner. Why do I need a trainer?
Right.
To prepare yourself.
Right.
To improve yourself. That's why you have a trainer.
Right. You need people to do research. You need people to especially if you're gonna go to another country and fight by that other country's rule. Y'all need to prepare. Y'all just can't just go there cold without knowing who you fighting or how they fight. And now he half beat up and talk about, oh, now he wants to street fight. Well, it's too late to fight like that now. You're almost done.
Then he gets paralyzed. Like, yep, there it is.
Right. So what else is
when Kirk is trying to get some training and he keeps getting laughed at, rejected by everywhere he goes.
Oh, that when he first went to that one.
Yeah, I want to fight. I want to fight Tong Po, and then he speaks his native language. They all laugh. I'm like, I can tell that he probably said this man want to fight our champion. Yeah, right. If you look at him, you know you can't do it. Now laugh at him.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were just, get out of here, son.
And then when he finally got to the one guy, he ends up falling for a trap and hanging upside down. He's been asked, what do you want? I want to train so I can fight Tong Po. It's like, I don't know you, so what do you want?
Right. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie. He's like,
he's better. He was like, I want to get down. It's like, I don't know you. What do you want?
Right. He's like, don't know who you are. Don't know what you want. That was so funny. And he was just shaking his head, standing behind the back, and just start walking away. So, the booby traps were a real problem for me in the movie because later on in the movie, you had people just snatching people off of his property,
wait a minute,
avoiding most of the booby traps. Where are all the booby traps?
Wasn't there booby traps here? At least one of them got activated. Right. But other than that, what is this other nonsense?
Right. How's everybody else avoiding the booby traps? That was problematic. But yeah, when dude was like, don't know who you are. That was funny.
Another good scene is when Kirk is actually training, and he's trying to, and he's doing very well until he has to kick a bamboo tree.
Right. It was a bamboo? No, it was a palm tree.
Yeah, palm tree.
And yeah, so he has to kick this palm tree like with his bare leg with no protection, and his the trainer. What was his trainer name again? Hold on a second. Let me look this up. My memory.
Sing?
Yeah, Zion. That's right. So the man that's training them is Zion Chow. So Zion is telling him to kick this tree. This is like a young palm tree, presumably to strengthen his legs and to strengthen his kicks. And the palm tree is only about as thick as Kurt's legs. But it's a palm tree. So he's like, and so when Kurt wants to stop because his legs, he's all bust up, and Zion tells him, well, just get your bags and get out. You don't want to fight. And he's like, yeah, but I do. It's like, you remember your brother? And then he got mad.
Yeah, he got the flashback. So he's like, oh yeah, my brother's paralyzed. I want to get revenge.
Right. He remembered that he needed to get revenge for his brother. And he kicked the tree until he knocked the tree over, but then fell down in absolute pain, as you're supposed to when you're kicking the tree. They say that he's not a great actor, but he really sold that pain.
And then there was the scene when he's training underwater. He pops up talking about, is that good enough? And Zion just puts his head back down into the water just to resume playing the flute. Like, apparently that's not good enough.
No, it's not good enough.
Then there was when he had to, when he's getting his leg split by force. And I'm like, that's painful.
So he's not split, but he's stretching his legs.
Yeah, stretching the legs.
Jean-Claude Van Damme is famously flexible. There's a move that he does in Bloodsport that is the inspiration for Johnny Cage's ball punch. So he was in, just to go back to Johnny Cage. So you've already seen the original Mortal Kombat, so we don't have to do that movie on this show. But in the game, they originally wanted Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, they wanted him
to play Johnny Cage. Well, yeah, actually to play whatever character, but they wanted him in Mortal Kombat, and he didn't want to do it. So they made up a character called Johnny Cage, and Johnny Cage is supposed to be Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Basically, yeah.
So that's why Johnny Cage does that split ball punch, because it's supposed to be because that's what Jean-Claude does.
That the actor that played Johnny Cage did it too. The video game actor, he was able to do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because there's a video on YouTube basically behind the scenes of Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, I've seen some of those, right.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's neat. That's good to know that he was able to pull that off.
Right. They probably hired him specifically because he knew how to do that.
I mean, not only that, he also has, martial art, because all of them was martial artists.
Yeah.
That was another thing, so.
Right.
Not only did he have to know how to do the split, but he has to be a martial artist.
That's the thing about, especially the early martial artist movies. Like in the early martial artist movies, they all knew martial arts. They weren't like today. They would, especially in American movies, they like to train somebody to be a fighter. And then they know just enough to make it look good on screen, because everything is pretty exaggerated on the screen. And they might have some other actors that are actual martial artists, but the actors nowadays are trained to be fighters because they want the actors for their acting ability, not for their ability to fight. But back in the old days, it was the exact opposite. They found martial artists and they trained them to be a little bit of acting abilities so that they could have martial artist movies. But So, yeah, that split that he does, like, so when he's stretching his legs, it was stretching them so we can get that classic Jean-Claude split. But that looked painful, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine that working, but it probably does. That looked like it would just break some tendons.
Another good scene is when they go to the bar and he gets drunk, and then Zion goes and just tell people, oh yeah, he said you're not a good fighter. Your mom has what was it?
your mom had sex with chickens or something.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Right.
Basically, insulting their fighting abilities and their mothers at the same time, causing them to get mad at him because his teacher said that's what he said.
Right. This is his teacher got him real drunk, and then said he wanted to see him dance. And then went on
Talking
the
about
juice
dance
box.
for your balance.
Right, to check his balance while he was drunk. And then, because the teacher wasn't drunk.
Oh, yeah, the teacher was perfectly fine.
He had maybe one drink. And then went and turned on the music on the jukebox. And then going whispering behind everybody. So, Kurt gets up and starts dancing. The teacher goes and he starts whispering in everybody's ears. Now everybody want to fight Kurt. And then
they all fail.
Right. So he beats everybody up. And he walks out and he's like, why is everybody so pissed at me? So that was a good scene.
Another good one was, it is basically near the end is when he's fighting.
Right.
He's fighting the teacher and the guy that took him and his brother to the hospital. Go save the brother because, he's been kidnapped because they didn't want him to win. So it was like, this was basically a way for Tong Po to win was to weaken him mentally.
Well, not only that, but he basically, because they bet $1 million on Tong Po.
Yeah, they also bet $1 million.
So they didn't think that that Kurt had a chance to win, but Kurt had been trained by this legendary trainer who doesn't train anybody anymore. So just to make sure that he couldn't win, they kidnapped his brother and threatened to kill his brother if he didn't throw the fight. They said, make it look good, but you're going to throw the fight or we're going to kill your brother or whatever. So, so you're right. The teacher and the dude, I forgot his name already. I think, I'm not even going to try. So the dude and the teacher, they went and
Winston, that's his name.
Right. They went and rescued his brother. Remember, his brother's paralyzed, so they just got him sitting in a chair.
Yep.
But and then Winston was former special forces, so Zion, he did his like kung fu stuff or his Muay Thai stuff, and then when those dudes came out with their guns, and started pointing them, that's when Winston came in and started shooting people and effected a rescue.
Yep. And when they got back, Kirk was like, okay, now I can fight without having any worry about my brother now.
Right. So then at the beginning of that fight, it wasn't like a regular.
Oh no, it was like apparently a traditional fight where they have to wrap they had to wrap their hands in ropes and then dip that rope gloved hand in honey and then
it was resin,
whatever, it looked like honey.
Right, it was resin,
and then stick that into a whole bunch of glass.
Yeah, broken glass. There's at the edge of my mind. There's a rap song that references this. I can't remember. I think it might have been in the soundtrack for Def Jam Vendetta, one of those songs. But I can't remember. But where the rapper talks about, I'm dip my hands in gauze and glass or something like that. And I was like, I know where he got that from. He either got it from Rambo 3 or Kickboxer, because in Rambo 3, Rambo does the same thing. He wraps his hands in some kind of tape, and then he dips his hand in like some kind of sticky stuff, and then he dips it in broken glass, and he's supposed to fight some dude. But he was in I don't know, some kind of cage match or whatever. So so that was the rules for this match. And so at the end of this match,
when Kirk brothers get rescued, he's so confident. He's like, okay, cut the ropes. I'm going to fight him barehanded.
Right.
I don't need a weapon glove. I can do it with my bare hands.
Right.
Which he does.
Right. Which he does. It wasn't entirely necessary. But yeah, it was, then he proceeds to beat the crap out of him, and that's the movie. It was simplistic. It was plain, but it had some exciting bits. See, I don't have the vocabulary for this type of work, but I just like talking about movies. But I just love the simplicity of the movie. Sometimes you get something that's plain, and I don't want to say plain. You get something that's simplified, with that is punched up with action and is a nice good story in there. Nice good story. I remember loving this movie when I was growing up. I've probably seen it at least a couple of times. So let's get into some trivia. Trivia is a little bit more meaty than the movie itself.
So Dennis Alexio, who played Eric Sloane, was a world light heavyweight and world cruiserweight kickboxing champion in real life.
Yeah, because they like to use the real fighters in these movies. Also, what I forgot to mention, that the trivia is provided by IMDb, where we get all of our information from, and then some information from Rotten Tomatoes. The scene in which Kurt has meat tied to his leg and is chased by Zion Chow's dog was inspired by a real-life event in which young Jean-Claude Van Damme was ordered by his karate teacher to wear a protective suit and withstand the attempts of a trained dog to pull him to the ground.
Michael Kesey was a technical advisor and choreographer when he overheard the producer crew say they were looking for a tall, oriental-looking guy with a background in Muay Thai. He volunteered and got the part of Tong Po. Because he is originally from Morocco, makeup was used to make him look more Asian.
Yeah, so now we know this guy was not Asian. At least, I don't know. I don't think Morocco is in Asia. I like to think it's off the coast of Africa. But yeah, I seen a picture of him, and he looks like a white guy to me. So once again, a little bit of Asian appropriation on the part of this character. Tong Po is mistakenly billed as playing himself during the film's credits. In fact, Michael Kesey played the villainous Thai for this film and its sequel, Kickboxer 2, The Road Back, 1991. Kamel Krifa played the character in the fourth. Kesey can also be seen in 3 other Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, Bloodsport 1988, Lionheart 1990, and Kickboxer Vengeance 2016. In Bloodsport, Kesey is the fighter that gets his leg broken by Chung Lee. In Lionheart, AWOL, Kesey plays Mustafa, who alongside another Legionnaire is trying to bring Lion from America back to Africa. In Kickboxer Vengeance, a remake of this movie, Kesey has a brief in-joke cameo as a prisoner who remarks, "You forgot about me?" as Van Damme walks past his cell. So yeah, I first thought that Kickboxer Vengeance was a sequel, but then I realized it was a remake. And Jean-Claude, I think he plays the trainer instead of the student.
The title held by Dennis Alexio's character in the movie, the International Sports Karate Association, ISKA, Heavyweight Championship, is a real championship and has been held by Alexio during his fight career. The belt in the movie, however, is not modeled after the actual belt.
Right, so they got a real kickboxing champion to be in this movie, playing a kickboxing champion. So he wasn't far from the truth. All the fight scenes were choreographed and directed by Van Damme.
Chuck Norris was originally supposed to star as Kurt Sloane.
This would have been a very different movie if it was Chuck Norris. The camp which Jean-Claude Van Damme's character visits during his search to find a trainer is the Soor Thanical Gym of Bangkok. Though defunct since 2003, it was a genuine training center for Muay Thai practitioners, housing over 50 kickboxers at any given time. That was the one where they laughed at him when he talked about he wanted to fight the champion.
The movie is set in Thailand, but apart from key exterior locations such as temples, Bangkok streets, and nightlife, the Thai boxing school and stadium, the majority of the movie was shot in Hong Kong, with Master Xian's house being built in Sai Kung at Sing Fung Studios.
Although Jean-Claude Van Damme and Michael Kesey played mortal enemies, both characters have been good friends, or both actors have been good friends since childhood, exchanging fighting techniques and even trying their luck in Hollywood together. They had already cooperated on 2 movies before working on Kickboxer. So that's pretty awesome. 2 friends go to Hollywood to try to achieve their dreams of being action movie stars, and at least one of them made it.
I mean, it's better than the word friendship that Sylvester Stallone and what's his name? It was on the tip of my tongue earlier. Terminator.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger has, because again, their friendship is very weird, but they're still friends somehow.
Right.
Despite trying to.
But it's not like they grew up together.
Yeah, that is also true. But again, they just keep trying to give each other a horrible move to play in.
They're more like frenemies than actual friends, because they were in competition with each other. They're both trying to one up each other on box offices in the movies, because they were basically the 2 top action stars of that era. So they're both trying to make a better movie, trying to give each other a worse movie. So. But these 2 guys, they grew up together and everything. I thought that was a neat story. And it's like, at least one of them made it. Like the what's his name? 50 Cent song. Homie, I thought you'd be glad one of us made it. So let's talk about what the critics think about Kickboxer. So the critics, this is from Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it 36%. The audience gave it 64%. Because like I said, the audience really loved it. The critics really hated it. IMDb reviews it, gives it 6.5 out of 10. So, Chris Willman, Los Angeles Times, he wrote, "This may not be the dumbest action picture of the year, but it's not for the lack of trying." That's an overly negative point of view, but I get what he's saying.
Michael Wilmington from Time Out, "Don't see it for psychological complexity, social comment, acting, plot, or humor. Go if you must just for kicks."
Right. Absolutely. He hit the nail on the hammer. Now, I know that this is kind of a side insult, but that's all right. He is correct. You just go for the kick. Go if you want to have fun. Go for the kick. Have pizza and a beer, and then go to the movies, and just watch some Kickboxer. That's exactly what this movie does. Chris Hicks of Deseret News. Van Damme tries once again to dispel the notion that he can't act and is nothing more than muscles on muscles, but his efforts are in vain. So he's saying that Jean-Claude Van Damme can act. I can't argue with him. I can't fight him. I'm like, yeah, he's here. Yeah, he's right. He's right. He's not a great actor. His thick accent kind of helms him up. That's not helpful.
John Ferguson from Radio Times. "The fight sequence are staged with such land that it's easy to ignore the Hackney script. Van Damme had hand in as well. Had hand in that as well, and rather wooden performance."
Right. Yeah, he's not wrong. And
just look at the Street Fighter movie. You can tell that acting is not very good, especially when Sega tried to purse. I forgot his name. There was an actor that they tried to purse just because they wanted him to be the next Sega something. I forgot what that mascot was for the Sega Saturn.
Right.
But he could not act for anything, and it was just a waste because they was gonna have what was his name? I think his name was Lee. He was a Street Fighter character. He was based off of
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
Right. Fei Long.
Yeah, Fei Long. Yeah. They was gonna have him in the movie, but he got cut just for this other actor that Sega wanted. Right. And it failed.
Well, that movie was going to fail anyway. It was nothing that was going to help that movie because it was like, the plot of the video game. Yeah, we're not doing that. The main character. No, we're not doing that either. We're not doing.
To make it worse, the video game was even worse because the actors didn't even know how to say the words, and I'm like, you have people there telling you how to say it.
Well, it's not just that, but the what you call it. Just the animation was bad.
They was gonna have E Honda, but the actor already left after they finished filming, so they couldn't even get him in the game. It's like
Right.
They had Blanca there, but they didn't put him in the game.
Right.
And when Sega had to do it for the home ports, there were some things they had to draw over.
Right.
So it's
And, the other thing is that the team that works in the actual Street Fighter video game was not the same team that made the video game based on a movie. And not only that, but the team that made the actual video game did not share like the coding information. So the team that made the Street Fighter movie game,
Sega had faith in them because of the game they made was Time Killers. So
well,
it was
but the problem was that they had very precise movements.
No, Sega didn't even know how to do because that's why they hired a different company, because they didn't know how to do what Mortal Kombat was doing. And when they started Time Killers doing, because Time Killers basically is supposed to be a ripoff of Street Fighter, but instead people saw it as a ripoff of Mortal Kombat.
Right.
So that's why Sega hired them to do the Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
Right.
Because it was like, okay, they can probably do the photorealistic thing.
Right.
Because we don't know how to do it. Yeah, we know how to do the animated fights, but we don't know how to do the photorealistic thing.
Well, the problem was that the controls were bad.
There was no block thing. There was everything was horrible because this is horrible in gameplay.
So yeah, the performances, and the only person that really gave, there were a few people, the actual actors gave great performances. So all of the Asian actors in the movie, they did great because they were actually actors. Like the guy that played Zion. So I didn't forget his name. I'm looking up his name right now because that's what I do. So Dennis Chan, he's a really good actor. His performance really made the movie. Like he can't steal a scene from Jean-Claude Van Damme because he can't act. But every time that Dennis Chan was on the scene, it was just like magic. So he played Zion Chow. You knew it was going to be special. Where in that first scene where he appears and Jean-Claude is caught up in a booby trap, and Dennis is like, "Don't know who you are, what you want." That was magical. And also Haskell V. Anderson, he did a great job. But he's a full real actor. And they was talking about how the script was all hackneyed. So one of the things he might be talking about is how on the subplot was somehow Zion's niece gets kidnapped just to be brought to a world champion kickboxer, Tong Po, just so that he could have his way with her. And just to mess with Kurt, just to mess with Kurt, which is needlessly evil. It's like,
not only that, it's like, how would you even know that he liked her?
No, that wasn't the point. I guess that is true. How would you even know that he liked her?
The whole point of that was to break his spirit. And it's like, but how would you know that he liked her?
Right.
Just because he protected her store that one time, because the henchman was like, oh yeah, it was white guy protected the store. We don't know why.
Right. So yeah, that's true. Why would you even know? And maybe they were spying on him, but it's still kind of, it was still kind of dumb. It was you didn't have to make him unnecessarily evil. He was already bad enough. He broke a dude's back. That's all you needed. And then they kidnapped his brother. You didn't have to add in the plot, a stupid subplot where his girlfriend gets kidnapped. So that was kind of messed up. But so he could have been talking about that. I can understand that. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie. So you said it was what did you say it was again?
It was decent.
It was decent. So we got a decent from Zachary, ladies and gentlemen. So Kickboxer is currently available for free on Amazon Prime Video for Prime subscribers. If you haven't watched it, you should check it out. It's a really fun movie, especially if you're just trying to chill. It's the perfect we just chilling out movie. In the next episode, we're going to talk about Stargate, the movie that started it all. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to get into it next week. So you got anything extra you want to add?
No.
All right, then. Once again, if you like this show, then please rate us. Write a review for us. Share it with someone. Share it with someone about us. You said you wanted to call it a hashtag or
yes, it's a hashtag.
Hashtag Backlook Cinema on Twitter or your favorite social media sites. Believe me, it matters. Be safe. Hug your loved ones. Get vaccinated. I got vaccinated last week. Well, actually, by the time this episode comes out, it'll almost be the end of 2 weeks, and I'll be what they call fully vaccinated. And in my own personal experience, no secondary symptoms. I got the second shot, didn't get any of the extreme symptoms that other people have. Like some people get the second shot and they fall out, or they get headaches and they get flu symptoms. I didn't get none of that. I got none of that. My second shot was flawless. I had no problems except for like a sore arm for like just that day. And so I haven't had any problems. But that was my own personal experience. Your experience may vary. So hug your loved ones and be outstanding.